Hello viewers, welcome to May-June 2017 WAEC, also known as WASSCE, Past Questions and Detailed Solution, General Mathematics / Mathematics Core, Paper 2, Part 2. This part contains questions 6 to 13. Answer 5 questions in this part. Solution to 8 questions in one video. So solution is provided to all the 8 questions, but you are asked to pick out 5. Question 6a. A manufacturing company requires 3 hours of direct labor to process 87 naira. Every 87 naira worth of raw materials. If the company uses 30,450 naira worth of raw materials, what amount should it budget for direct labor at 18 naira 25 kobo per hour? Worth of raw materials is this amount. Worth of raw materials to get processed materials is 87 naira. Now, amount of raw material to get processed material is dividing the worth of raw materials by the worth of raw materials to get processed materials. This is this. Time required for direct labor is 3 hours. So the amount that will be budgeted for direct labor at 18 naira 25 kobo per hour is simply the time times the amount times the other amount, which is this. If you simplify, you have 19,162 naira 50 kobo. Question 6b. An investor invested S naira in Bank M at the rate of 6% simple interest per annum and invested Y naira in Bank N at the rate of 8% simple interest per annum. If a total of 8 million naira was invested in the two banks and the investor received a total of 2,320,000 naira as interest from the two banks after 4 years, calculate the figure 1 values of S and Y, figure 2 interest paid by the second bank, that is Bank N. From this problem, we have to form 2 equations: the total amount invested and the interest that resulted. So you note that interest is this. Total amount invested, you have S plus Y equal to 8 million naira. You call that equation 1. Now, interest from Bank M is S, that is principal, times rate 6 times time 4 divided by 100. That simplifies to 0.24 S. Interest from Bank N is equal to principal is Y times rate is 8 times time is 4 divided by 100. That simplifies to 0.32Y. Total interest received is 2,320,000. That means 0.24S plus 0.32Y equal to 2,320,000 naira. You call that equation 2. Anytime you have 2 pairs of equations, with two unknown variables, you always solve them simultaneously. Here I'm going to use elimination method. So we have the two equations 1 and 2, and I want to eliminate variable s. To achieve that, variable s needs to have the same coefficient in both equations. So to achieve that, you multiply equation 1 by 0.24 in order to have the same coefficient. So equation 1 becomes 0.24s plus 0.24y. You multiply 8 million by 0.24, you have 1,920,000. The coefficient, they are positive in both equations, so you need to subtract. So that is why here is minus. If you subtract, this disappear. You subtract this, you get this, and you subtract this, you get this. To get y first, divide both sides by minus 0.8y, and y is equal to 5 million naira. To get the value of s, you need to substitute y value into equation 1. So equation 1 is this. Anywhere y appears, you replace it with 5 million. Correct like terms, you have s equal to 8 million naira minus 5 million, and you have 3 million. So now we got 1. The value of s is 3 million naira, and the value of y is 5 million naira. 2. Interest paid by the second bank, that is bank N, is equal to 0.32y as we calculated earlier. So that is 0.32 times value of y 5 million, and you have 1,600,000 as the interest paid by bank N. Question 7a. Copy and complete the table of values for the equation y equal to 7s squared minus 7s minus 94 minus 3 less than equal to s less than equal to 6. That is the range of values of s. You have the table of values with some y values missing, and you are expected to solve for them. B. Using scales of 2 centimeters to 1 unit on the x-axis and 2 centimeters to 4 units on the y-axis, draw the graph of y equal to 2s squared minus 7s minus 9 4 minus 3 less than equal to s less than equal to 6. C. Part of the question. Use the graph to estimate. Now figure 1. Roots of the equation 2s squared minus 7s equal to 26. Now figure 2. Coordinates of the minimum point of y. Roman figure 3. Range of values for which 2s squared minus 7s is less than 9. Solution. So we are asked to copy and complete the table of values. This is the equation and the range of values of s. Now, to get y, we need precisely two things. We need to get 2s squared. We get minus 7s. Minus 9 is a constant, and as such, you write it under each value of s the way you are seeing it. So let's get 2s squared. First, you get s squared multiplied by 2. When s is minus 3, minus 3 squared is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. When s is minus 2, minus 2 squared is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. When s is 6, 6 squared is 36 times 2, you have 72. So let's get minus 7s. When s is minus 3, you have minus 7 times 3 times minus 3, that is 21. When s is minus 1, minus 7s becomes 7. When s is 2, you have minus 7s as minus 7 times 2, that is minus 14. When s is 5, minus 7s becomes minus 7 times 5, that is minus 35. To get y now, you simply add the values down. So you have 18 plus 21 minus 9, that is 30. 8 plus 14 minus 9, you have 13. 8 minus 14 minus 9, you have minus 15, and so on. This is the complete table of values. So we are now in B part, and we are to plot the graph. So this is the given scale, 2 cm to 1 unit on x-axis. You have 2 cm to 4 units on y-axis. This is the meaning. This graph you have here, each of the square is 1 cm by default. So if you combine two squares, you give it 4 on the y-axis. The next two becomes 8. The next two is 12, and so on. If you move down, you have negative values. But on the x-axis, 2 cm is 1 unit, as you can see, to both left and right. This scale implies that one line is equal to 0.1 on the x-axis. If you divide the number of units by number of line, that is 1 by 10, you have 0.1, and on the x-axis you have 0.4 units, that is 1 line. Next thing is to plot. Knowing what one line stands for help us to locate decimal values, although this table you don't have such, but when you are asked to solve later, you see the importance of knowing what one line stands for. The first point, when s is minus 3, y is 30, you plot it at this point. When s minus 2, y is 13. Now you have 12 here. So if you have 12 in that place, you have to count 13. So after 12 we have, okay, on the y-axis, one line is 0.4. Now you need 13. So after 12, the next line is 12.4. The second line is 12.8, and the third line is 13.2. So you have 13 in between 12.8 and 13.2. That is the middle of it, what you have here. So you see why getting what one line stands for is very important. Next point, when s minus 1, y is 0. You plot that point directly on the x-axis. When s is 0, y is minus 9. If you do the same counting now, you have minus 9 somewhere here. When s is 1, y is minus 14. If you count from 12, somewhere here is, in fact 14 should be the 14, okay, you count it 0.4, so to be one line, you have 14 somewhere here against 1, that is minus 14. When s is 2, y is minus 15 somewhere here. When s is 3, y is minus 12. You can locate that easily. When s is 4, y is minus 5 somewhere here. Note that you count from minus 4. Notice that one line is 0.4. When you have 5 for s, y is 6, that is somewhere here. And when you have 6 for s, y is 21. So all the points have been plotted. Next is to join them together. Every graph has a title and is usually the equation or equations that you are plotting, but here we only have one equation, and that becomes the title of the graph. All the points have been joined together. We move to C. Use the graph to estimate figure 1 roots of the equation 2s squared minus 7s equal to 26. You must note that the graph you plotted is 2s squared minus 7s minus 9. So for you to use the graph to solve any other equation, that equation must be simplified to the one that is plotted. To achieve that, from here you simply subtract 9 from both sides, so you have it in this form. Therefore 2s squared minus 7s minus 9 is equal to 17. And you know everything here is equal to y. If you replace this with y, it means the solution of the equation occurs at y equal to 17. So you go to y axis and locate 17 somewhere here. You trace it to meet the curve at both ends. Here is the first point. You trace to s axis. This is the second point. You also trace to the s axis. Notice that on the s axis, one line is 0.1. The solution becomes minus 2.2 or 5.7. Roman figure 2, coordinate of the minimum point of y. That is the lowest point of the curve. That is somewhere here. Now when you say coordinate, you find s and y value. At the minimum point here, you trace to the s axis and you trace to y axis. For s axis, you have it here 1.8, and for y axis you have minus 15. That's the coordinate of the minimum point. Roman figure 3, range of values for which 2s squared minus 7s is less than 9. For us to have the equation that is plotted, you simply transfer 9 to the left hand side and you have 2s squared minus 7s minus 9 less than 0. If you replace the left hand side by y, it means the range occurs at y less than 0. So for us to do that range, we write y less than 0 as equation. That is y equal to 0. So the range occurs at the point where the curve cuts across the s axis. So one point is here, another point is here, and you have minus 1 and 4.5. The range is always written using a symbol of inequality. So the range is minus 1 less than s less than 4.5. So this is solution to question 8. Sorry, question 7. Question 7. Question 8. The table shows the distribution of marks scored by some students in a test. A part of the question: if the mean mark is 3 whole number 6 over 23, find the value of m. B part: find the figure 1 interquartile range. Figure 2 probability of selecting a student who scored at least 4 marks in the test, that is 4 marks and above. To get m, you use the mean formula since the mean is given to you. If we are to maintain the table the way it is, you simply add a row for fs. You take the marks as s, frequency is f. To get fs, you add the row, that is product of the frequency and the marks. If you add together, that gives the summation of fs. So this is the table, and the row for fs has been added. So you multiply 1 by m plus 2, you have m plus 2. You multiply 2 by m minus 1, that is m times 2, you have 2m. Then minus 1 times 2, you have minus 2. You multiply these two together and you get this. You multiply these two, you get this. You multiply these two and you get this. We need the sum of f and fs. So 8m minus 1, you add m plus 2 plus m minus 1. Now let's take it side by side. You have m plus m is 2m plus 2m. You have 4m plus m. You have 5m plus 3m. You have 8m. Now let's take the constants. You have plus 2 minus 1 as 1. 1 minus 3. You have minus 2. Minus 2 plus 5. You have plus 3. Plus 3 minus 4. You have minus 1. So you have 8m minus 1 as the sum of frequency. If you add fs, you have 28m minus 9. This column is after m is known. The row rather is after m is known before you get that row. So the mean as an improper fraction, because we have the mean as a mixed fraction. If you convert to this fraction, you have 75 over 23 equal to summation of fs over summation of f. To clear fractions, simply cross multiply in this form. You open the respective brackets and you have this result. Collect like terms. So here we are moving 600m to the right hand side. So you have minus 75. You have to transfer in this constant, becomes plus. So you have 644m here. You move in 600m, it becomes minus 600m. If you add and subtract, you have this. To get m, divide both sides by 44. So m is equal to 132 over 44, and that is 3. So you can now have after m from the frequency. If you put 3 in place of m, 3 plus 2 becomes 5. Here 3 minus 1, you have 2. 2 times 3 is 6, minus 3, you have 3. M, that is 3 plus 5, you have 8. 3 times 3 here is 9. 9 minus 4, you have 5. When you add together, you have 23. Or you simply come here, 8 times 3 is 24 minus 1, you also have 23. B part of the question, Roman figure 1. Interquartile range is simply the third or upper quartile minus first or lower quartile. Here, you need to understand that quartile divides the distribution into 4 equal parts. So we must know the entire value of the distribution, and that is f. So we get sum of frequency, and that sum is 23. This 23 is an odd total. You can work with it, or if you desire to have an even total, you simply add 1 to 23, it becomes 24. So the third quartile, denoted by Q3, is 3 over 4 times the entire distribution, that is 23. So you will add 1 to make it even total. So you have 3 over 4 times 24, and that is 18th position. So from the frequency, the third quartile occur where you have the 18th position. How do you get that? You keep adding the frequency till the 18th position. So you come to the frequency row. 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 plus 3 is 10. 10 plus 8 is 18. So 18 is contained or found in this place. And the mark that corresponds to 18 is 4. So therefore, the third quartile is 4. For the first quartile, you have 1 over 4 times the sum of frequencies, and that gives the 6th position. So if you keep adding, you get 6 in this place. 5 plus 2 is 6. So 6 is contained where you have frequency of 2, the sum of the first and second frequency, and the mark for that position is 2. So the first quartile is equal to 2. Interquartile range becomes 4 minus 2, and that is 2. B part of the question, find the probability that a student selected scored at least 4 marks. That is, those that scored 4 marks plus those that scored 5 marks. Those that scored 4 marks, they are 8. Those that scored 5 marks, they are 5. So you add 8 plus 5 over sum of frequency, 23, and that gives 13 over 23 as the required probability. Petakus Simplified Maths. If you are watching and viewing from YouTube, don't forget to subscribe for more updates. From time to time, like and share PSM videos. If you are viewing and watching from Facebook, follow and like the page. Also share PSM videos. Question 9. PQ is a tangent to a circle, arrow ST at the point S. PRT is a straight line, angle TPS 34 degrees, angle TSQ 65 degrees. Roman figure 1 illustrates the information in a diagram. Roman figure 2, find the value of A angle arrow TS. be angle SRP. So you have a circle. Now PQ is a tangent, so you have the point of contact is S, so this is P, and you have a Q somewhere here. You have Q somewhere here. You have it that PRT is a straight line. So PRT is a straight line. Now we have angle TSQ. So if here is T, one angle is here, you need to join these 2 points together. This angle is 34, this angle is 64. You are asked to find this angle and you are asked to find this angle. So you have the information you are asked to illustrate in a diagram. Now to get this angle, let us look at triangle PTS. In PTS, this angle is interior, this angle is interior, and this angle is exterior. And you know exterior angle is equal to sum of the 2 opposite interior angle. That will help us to get this. Now to get SRP, that is this angle, you need to get this angle first. And this angle is equal to this angle. Angle in the same segment, angles in alternate segment, and when you add these 2 angles equal to 180, angles on a straight line. So you have the same diagram. Remember figure 2a, we are to look for angle RTS. So let's consider triangle PTS. You have angle RTS plus angle TPS equal to angle TSQ. Exterior angle equal to sum of the 2 opposite interior angles. So you have angle RTS plus 34 degrees equal to 65 degrees. Angle RTS equal to 65 degrees minus 34 degrees equal to 31 degrees. For us to get SRP, we need to get SRT first. So angle SRT is equal to angle TSQ, and that is 65 degrees, angles in alternate segment. So if you add angle SRP to angle STRO, the sum is 180 degrees. Sum of angles on a straight line, then angle SRP is equal to 180 degrees minus 65 degrees, and that is 115 degrees. 9b. In the diagram, VZ is equal to YZ, angle YSZ is 20 degrees, angle ZUV 52 degrees. Calculate the size of angle WYZ. So from the marking, it means that triangle VYZ is isosceles triangle. So this angle here, this angle, the whole of this angle now is equal to 52 degrees, base angles in a triangle. But this small angle here is equal to this angle, angle in alternate segment. So sorry, angles in the same segment. So we put all of these into concentration in attempt to get WYZ. That is, we are looking for this whole angle WYZ. So we have the solution continuation. We have angle VYZ is equal to angle ZYV, that is 52 degrees, base angles of isosceles triangle. Then you have it that angle SVZ plus angle YVZ is equal to 180 degrees. Sum of angles on the straight line. We are trying to get this angle now. Then angle SVZ plus 52 degrees equal to 180. You have it that angle SVZ is 180 degrees minus 52, and that is 128. So we know this angle. Right. So let's continue. Now we have triangle SVZ. Triangle SVZ. So we want to get this A now. Once we get this A, automatically we know this A, and the whole angle here is 52. You can now subtract the 2 from A to get what you are asked to look for. So in triangle SVZ, if you add the 3 angles, the sum is 180. So you have 20 degrees plus here now 128 plus A equal to 180. So A is equal to 20 plus 128, 148. Collect like terms, you have 180 degrees minus 148 degrees equal to 32 degrees. This angle and this angle, they are equal angles in the same segment. And we have 3 angles here. That place, you have angle VWY, you have angle WYZ, and angle VYZ. But the sum of 2 of them is equal to VYZ as given. From that place, you get angle WYZ to be the entire angle 52 degrees minus A, that is 32 degrees, and you have 20 degrees. So we are interested in this place, WYZ. You know the entire place as 52 degrees. You've got to A, so you subtract A from 52 degrees to get WYZ to be 20 degrees. Question 10a. Given that sin S is equal to 5/13, you have 0 degrees less than S less than 90 degrees. That shows that we have the first quadrant. Find cos S minus 2 sin S over 2 tan S. Now, the given ratio sine is expressed as opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is expressed as adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is expressed as opposite over adjacent. That means adjacent is needed. So you use the information about sin S, you draw a right angle triangle with the acute angle as S. The side facing it is the 5 opposite. The other side, longest side, is 13, or the side that is facing the right angle hypotenuse. The other side is adjacent, that is A. By Pythagoras rule, adjacent is 12. That is the square of 13 equal to sum of squares on the other two sides. You have 196, 169, 169 minus 5 squared, that is 25, equal to A squared. If you subtract you have a squared equal to 144, and to get a, you take the root of both sides, and a is equal to 12. So therefore, cos s, that is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, is now 12 over 13. Tan s, that is opposite over adjacent, is now 5 over 12. We can now evaluate this. So cos s is 12 over 13 minus 2 times sin s over 2 times tan s. If you simplify further, you have 12 over 13 minus 2 times 5 over 13 becomes 10 over 13 over 2 times 5 over 12, that is 10 over 12. The numerator is like the difference of two like fractions. You simply subtract, that is 12 minus 10 over 13, that is 2 over 13, divided by the denominator 10 over 12. When reduced, you have 5 over 6. In division of fractions, division sign always changes to multiplication, and the fraction at the right side is inverted. So you have 2 over 13 times 6 over 5, and that is 12 over 65. As the value of cos s minus 2 sin s over 2 tan s. Question 10b. A ladder LA leans against a vertical pole L, which is 9 meters above the ground, and that ladder LB, 12 meters long, leans on the opposite side of the pole and at the same point L. If A and B are 10 meters apart and on the same straight line as the foot of the pole, calculate correct to 2SF the Roman figure 1 length of the ladder LA. Roman figure 2 angle which LA makes with the ground. So you have the vertical pole. The pole has a point on it L. So the first ladder LA leans on this side. The length of the pole is 9.6 meters, and from the same point you have the second ladder LB somewhere here. Both are on the same ground level with the pole, so you can join the level together. The length of the second ladder is 12 meters. Then the length of the first ladder is unknown, so let it be y meters. Now you are asked to get the length, that is considering triangle LDA. So AD is needed. The whole of the length AB, that is 10, cannot be used as AD. From the information, it is easier to get BD because in triangle LDB, two sides are known. So if we get this side first, which is S meters, you subtract it from 10. In this form, it gives LD. So using LD along with 9.6, you can easily get the length of ladder LA before the angle the ladder makes with the ground. From the information, S is first needed, and you have to start by considering triangle LDB. And by Pythagoras rule, you have the square on the longest side is equal to sum of squares on the other two sides. So you have 144 equal to 92.16 plus s squared. Correct like terms, you have 144 minus 92.16 equal to s squared, and s squared is equal to 51.84. To get s, take the root of both sides, so s is equal to square root of 51.84, and that is 7.2. What we actually need is AD, but BD is needed first. So AD is equal to 10 minus BD, 7.2, and that is 2.8. We cannot consider triangle LAD, and by the same Pythagoras rule, you have the longest side, that is y squared, equal to sum of squares on the other two sides, that is 9.6 squared plus the square of AD, that is 2.8. You have 92.16 plus 7.84. If you add, y squared is equal to 100. To get y that is equal to LA, you need to take the square root of both sides. So y that is equal to LA is equal to the square root of 100, and that is 10 meters. Now, to find the angle that LA makes with the ground level, you can use any of the trig ratio, since all the sides are known in triangle LDA. That angle is LAD, so let's use tangent. Tan LAD is equal to opposite 9.6 over adjacent 2.8. If you divide, you have 3.429. To get the required angle, you take the inverse of tangent of 3.429. To the nearest degree, the inverse of that value is 74 degrees. That is the angle that the ladder LA makes with the ground. Petakus Simplified Maths. If you are watching and viewing from YouTube, don't forget to subscribe for more updates, like and share PSM videos. If you are viewing and watching from Facebook, follow and like the page for more updates. Also share PSM videos. Question 11a. It takes 8 students 2/3 of an hour to fill 12 tanks of water. How many tanks of water will 4 students fill in 1/3 of an hour at the same rate? So 8 students used 2/3 hours to fill 12 tanks. So for 4 students, you have 4 students in 1/3 hour will therefore fill. You have 4 divided by 8 times 1/3 divided by 2/3 times 12. So here should be division, but you know in division of fraction, division sign always changes to multiplication. So if the sign here become multiplication, this fraction 2/3 is inverted to 3/2. So from here, 3 can cancel 3. You divide 4 and 2 by 2. 2 is remaining here. You divide that 2 and this 8 by 2. 4 is remaining here. You divide 12 by 4. You have 3 tanks. Question 11b. A chord 20 centimeters long is 12 centimeters from the center of the circle. calculate correct to one decimal place day. Figure 1, angle subtended by the chord at the center of the circle. Figure 2, perimeter of the minor segment cut off by the chord. Take pi equal 3.142 solution. You have a circle. Now a chord is that line that join any 2 points together. So you have A, B is a chord. Now from the center to this point with the chord is 12. Now the length of the chord is 20. AD is equal to BD. That means the half, that is 10, 10. So AD is 10, OD is 12. Remember, this is the whole angle, but once we get part of it multiplied by 2, you get the angle subtended by the chord. So the angle subtended by the chord at the center is angle AOB. AOB, that is equal to 2 times AOD. The angle subtended by the chord at the center is angle AOB. That is the entire angle and is equal to 2 times angle AOD. So we get AOD first. Now AOD, that is AOD. Now you have opposite adjacent. So that is tan. Tan of angle AOD is equal to 10 over 12, and that is 0.8333 and so on. To get angle AOD, you take the inverse of tan 0.8333, and that is 39.8 degrees to 1 decimal place. So the whole angle AOB, is equal to 2 times 39.8 degrees, and that is 79.6 degrees as the angle subtended by the chord. From figure 2, perimeter of minor segment is equal to length of arc plus length of chord. Now this region bounded by the chord and arc is referred to as segment. So you have the minor segment and the major segment. So the radius is needed along the solution. So let's get the radius. Now let's consider triangle AOD, because in that triangle we know the opposite adjacent. The radius is the hypotenuse. So you have AO squared, that is hypotenuse, the radius, equal to OD squared plus AD all squared. So AO is arrow, you have arrow squared, equal to OD 12 squared plus AD squared, that is 10 squared. You have 144 plus 100, that is 244. Arrow is equal to square root of 244, and that is 15.62 centimeters. So let's get the length of arc first. Length of arc is computed using this formula. The angle is 79.6 over 360 degrees times 2 times pi 3.142 times radius 15.62. If you multiply and divide, you have 21.7 cm. Already length of the chord is 20 centimeters. 20 centimeters. Therefore, perimeter of minor segment is equal to 21.71 plus 20, and that is 41 0.71 centimeters. Now, assuming you are asked to find perimeter of the major segment, this is the major segment. So you get the angle here. So this angle here is 360 minus 79.6. Then you go ahead and compute that. But here we are asked to find the perimeter of the minor segment, and we stick to that. Question 12a. Using completing the square method, solve correct to 2 decimal places the equation 3y squared minus 5y plus 2 equal to 0. The equation is quadratic. So we are going to outline the steps that are involved when using completing the square method. This is the equation you are solving. Step 1 is to make the coefficient of the term that is squared y unitary, that is 1. The coefficient is always 1. To achieve this, divide through by 3. Divide 3y squared by 3, you have y squared. You divide the second term by 3, you have minus 5 over 3y. You divide the constant term by 3, you have plus 2 over 3. You divide 0 by 3, it is 0. The next step is that you transfer the constant term to the right hand side. This is the constant term, the term without the variable. If you transfer it to the right hand side, it becomes negative. Next step is to add square of half of coefficient of y to both sides. So you get square of half of coefficient of y. Here, coefficient of y is minus 5 over 3. So you look for half, means 1 over 2 times minus 5 over 3 all square. No term can reduce. If you multiply, you have minus 5 over 6 all squared. So you add this term to both sides of that expression. So the term has been added to both sides. The next step is to ignore the term that contains y. This term that contains y, you ignore it, and at the same time you evaluate or simplify the right hand side to a single fraction. If you ignore this term, you have this result. So we have equal to minus 2 over 3 plus minus 5 squared is plus 25. 6 squared is 36. The LCM of 3 and 6 is 36. We are trying to simplify the right hand side. Divide 36 by 3, you have 12 times minus 2, you have minus 24. Divide 36 by 36, you have 1. 1 times plus 25, you have plus 25. And when you add, you have 1 over 36 to be the right hand side. Next step is to combine the squares in the left hand side. You combine y squared and this term. This step is like factory add power of 2. When you do that, you have y minus 5 over 6 all squared equal to 1 over 36. Next step is to take square root of both sides. So you have square root of the left hand side. In quadratic equation, you always have 2 roots. For us to achieve that, anytime you are taking the square root of the left hand or the right hand side, you always attach plus minus. Square root of 1 over 36. From here, square root will remove square. You are left with 5 minus, you are left with y minus 5 over 6 equal to plus minus. Square root of 1 is 1 and that of 36 is 6. Next step is to solve the resulting linear equation for y. You simply transfer this term to the right hand side and you have y equal to 5 over 6 plus minus 1 over 6. The plus minus term means you can write this expression twice, starting with minus before plus. So you have 5 over 6 minus 1 over 6, or 5 over 6 plus 1 over 6. You have like fractions. You subtract and you add. You have this expression, and you have 4 over 6 or 6 over 6. When you reduce and divide, you have 2 over 3 or 1 as the value of y. Question 12b. Given that m is equal to, bracket open, you have the entry in the first row 1, 2, 4, 3, the second row, matrix n with entries in the first row m, s, second row n, y, and the product of matrix m and n is equal to the matrix with the entries in the first row 2, 1, second row 3, 4. Find matrix n. From the problem, the product mn first is multiplying matrix m by matrix n, and the product is given to you as this matrix. So when multiplying, you use this first row to multiply first column. That is 1 times m is m, plus 2 times n, you have 2n. That is what you have here. If you are done with that, the same first row multiply second column. 1 times s is s, 2 times y, you have 2y, you add them together. You use the second row to multiply first column. That is 4 times m plus 3 times n in this form, and the same second row times second column, and that is 4 times s plus 3 times y in this manner. By equality of matrices, the first entry here is equal to the first entry here. That is m plus 2n equal to 2. You call that equation 1. Also, we have the second entry in the first column is equal to second entry in the first column the other side. That is m 4m plus 3n equal to 3. So you have 1 here equal to this entry, then 4 equal to this entry. You have 4 equations. Equations 1 and 2, they have variable m and n in common, so you solve 1 and 2, then 3 and 4 simultaneously at separate times. We start with equation 1 and 2. This is equation 1, this is equation 2. I want to eliminate variable m. To achieve that, this place needs to be 4. You don't just write 4 there, but you multiply through equation 1 by 4, and equation 2 remain the same. If you do that, you have 4m plus 8n equal to 8. Equation 2 remain the same. To eliminate m, since the sign are the same, opposite, that is plus plus, you subtract. If you subtract, here becomes 0, so you have 8n minus plus 3n, which means 8n minus 3n equal to 5n, and 8 minus 3 equal to 5. Divide through by 5 and you have n equal to 1. To get m from this solution, you substitute n equal to 1 into either equation 1 or 2. So we are taking equation 1. That equation is m plus 2n equal to 2. Where you see n, replace it with 1. So you have m plus 2 times 1 equal to 2. That is m equal to 2 minus 2, and you have 0. So you know you have to find matrix n now. So you know m and n. If you solve equation 3 and 4 simultaneously, you get s and y. Following similar procedures, if you solve equation 3 and 4 simultaneously, you have y equal to 0 and s equal to 1. So this is matrix n. M is 0, m is 0, s is 1, then n is 1, and s is 0. So matrix n is 2 by 2 identity or unit matrix. Petakus simplified maths. If you are viewing and watching from YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. Also like and share PSM videos. If you are viewing and watching from Facebook, follow and like the page. Also share PSM videos. Question 13a. The operation asterisk is defined on the set of real numbers by s asterisk y equal to s plus y over 2, where s and y are members of the set of real numbers. Remember figure 1, evaluate 3 asterisk 2 over 5. Remember figure 2, if 8 asterisk y is equal to 8 whole number 1 over 4, find the value of y. Solution. This is the operation. So with this, 3 simply represent s and 2 over 5 represent y, and you replace them in the operation. If you simplify the numerator, you have 17 over 5 divided by 2. You can write 2 over 1, so that in fraction division, division sign always changes to multiplication, and you have 17 over 5 times 1 over 2 if you invert that fraction, and that is 17 over 10. Remember figure 2, we should find y in this expression. What it means that if you replace s with a, y remains the same over 2. You equate it to 8 whole numbers, 1 over 4, that simplifies to 33 over 4 in this form. To clear fractions, simply cross multiply and you have this result. If you open the brackets, you have 32 plus 4y equal to 66. Collect like terms, you have 4y equal to 66 minus 32, and that is 34. To get y, divide both sides by 4, so y is equal to 34 over 4, which reduce to 17 over 2, and to mixed fraction, you have 8 whole number 1 over 2. Question 13a, 13b. In triangle ABC, AB is equal to minus 4, 6. That is a column vector. AC is equal to 3 minus 8, another column vector. If P is the midpoint of vector AB, express CP, that is vector CP, as a column vector. So you have triangle ABC. The midpoint of AB is P. You must know the vector, they have magnitude and direction, vector quantity. So AB, this is the direction, then AC, this is the direction, and PC, this is the direction. Now you are asked to express CP, vector CP, as a column vector, but by this direction we can only get vector PC, and once we get vector PC, we can get vector CP. Once we get PC, we can get CP. All right, so we have the midpoint, and for us to get vector PC, we'll look at this from here to this place and to this place. So for us to get PC first, it means you must get AP. Already AC is this column vector. So let's get AP. AP is half of AB in this form. So you multiply vector AB by half, you have this column vector. 1 over 2 times minus 4, you have minus 2. 1 over 2 times 6, you have 3. Midpoint, the midpoint is AP plus PC, that is vector AP plus vector PC, and that is equal to vector AC. So for us to get PC first, you have to make vector PC the subject. When you do that, you have this expression. So this is vector AC minus vector AP. To subtract, you have 3 minus 2 is 5, and minus 8 minus 3 is minus 11. You have to interchange the position of vector PC to CP. As you are doing that, you always multiply that the vector you are switching by minus 1. So vector CP is obtained by multiplying vector PC by minus 1. If you do that, you have the column vector minus 5 and 11. Paper 2 part 2 has come to an end, but before you go, there is every need for you to be saved. And to be saved, you just need to give your life to the Lord Jesus Christ and confess Him as your Lord and personal Savior every day of your life. If you are saved already, congratulations. Live righteously and be prepared, because on the last day some will be taken and some will be left. Take good care of yourself, stay out of trouble, study your books, do the needful at all times, flee every appearance of evil, don't defraud others to make money, use your hands and your brain to work genuinely and legally, and the Lord will bless you. Goodbye and stay tuned.